Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe. I'm your host, Keri D. Singleton, and today we welcome Dion Johnson to the show. It's an honor to have you on the show, brother. Welcome to Sessions Cafe.
Thank you for having me, Keri. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an honor to have you, my man. First of all, I just want some clarity. You're a community health worker and credible messenger.
Yes.
Can you please give me a synopsis of what a credible messenger is?
All right, so I'll break it down how I usually do in my presentation. Credible messenger is the job title.
Okay.
Community health worker is the career.
Career, okay,
basically.
I got you.
And it's, what is it, life experience. It's a position based off of life experience.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, and I'm currently working in a hospital, and basically I'm bridging the gap for justice impacted individuals to get physicals, dental, and mental health services.
So I know what a justice impacted individual is, but for those of us that don't know what that term is.
Being justice impacted, meaning I went to prison.
Correct.
I did some prison time. I was trying to figure out how to exactly say it, but that's basically what it means.
The thing is, I just want to make sure that my viewers understand. Formerly incarcerated, that's a common term.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would have been much better.
So you did a 6-year prison term.
I was sentenced to 6 years. Yes, sir. I wound up completing it in 3.5.
Good.
6 months good time with that.
Was that a state sentence?
It was.
In New York State?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm curious to know which facility or facilities you served your time at.
Green Correctional Facility.
Okay. Green is a medium?
It is a medium,
It's a medium security facility, I'm familiar with the system.
Which is a lot light compared to a max.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
you have
light
Max, you have Max A, Attica, Clinton. You have Max B, most of the other Maxes, including Sing Sing.
Right.
You have mediums, and then you have minimums, which are usually
like
reserved
obsolete right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Well, if you could, Mr. Johnson, give me a detail of what your prison experience was like. And I only ask that because most of the people in the United States have not been to prison. They see movies, they see television programs, but they don't know what it's really like to be behind bars.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it when you asked the question initially, so I guess overall, I would say traumatic, right?
Absolutely.
Because it was a traumatic experience,
yeah.
Right? But what I did during my bid was, I went to college and I worked.
Right.
When you train a child in the way they should go, they'll go back to it. Yeah. So when I got in trouble, I didn't want to get in any more trouble.
Exactly.
So I decompressed, basically, right? So, you know, there were cuttings on the walkway, there was cuttings in the dorm.
Slashings and
slashings,
like that.
Cuttings, slashings, right? Officers ridicule you, talk down on you, demean you, right? Yeah. Stealing food out your packages, right? You go to medical and you don't want to wait on that long line, right? Or you don't want to be cursed out by the CO just to get to the doctor.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. There are a lot of ways. Once you're in the correctional facility, once you're in the jail, that's not where the punishment ends. Like, there's just so many other ways.
It's psychological warfare.
Exactly.
That's the best way I could describe it to you. It's all psychological.
Right.
You know, from the officer coming in the dorm, yelling, cursing you out.
Right.
You know, we have female officers.
Exactly.
Female and male, but I mean, we did have female officers. So a female walking into a 60-man dorm and cursing out the whole dorm. You MFs ain't, like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And then telling you, I'll pull the pin, you got a problem with it.
And explain to
when she pulls the pin, when she pulls the pin, that's basically like the riot squad.
Right.
I guess you could call
pull
them
the pin out of their
cleanup crew.
Right, exactly.
It's a black box that they have on their belt with a metal, you know, with a silver pin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Pull that. Alarm goes off, however it does, right? Because you don't hear it. You don't know when they're going to pull the pin, right? So next thing you know, you give it no more than 2 minutes, it's like SWAT team rolling in.
And it could simply be a simple situation where the corrections officer had a bad day at
Exactly.
home.
You were reading my mind. Came in on a bad day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anything could have happened. They could just want to just take everything out on
their job.
The prisoners.
Right. Yeah. And they do. But you earned graduate credits with the Hudson Link College program,
Yes, sir.
which I think is so admirable, brother, because like I said, there are different ways to do your time. You can definitely put yourself in situations where you can get into a lot of trouble, and in some cases get more time. There are situations where one can, lose their life or lose a limb, and then there's options to want to make the best of the experience, and I don't think that that's what a lot of people understand. You chose to make the best out of a bad situation. What inspires you to even just to want to go that route?
Well, first off, as far as the inspiration, I would have to say my family, first off, with the inspiration. Because if it was left up to me, whenever I put my hands in something, I mess it up. So if it was left up to me, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't even know it was afforded. I didn't even know it was available, or even that there was an opportunity there.
Yeah. Wow.
But basically, it was my family invested a lot into my education, and I didn't complete college when I initially graduated from high school.
Right.
So prior to me even getting locked up and sentenced on that bid, I said to myself, I probably won't get what I want in life if I don't complete what these people sacrificed and invested for me in my life. Right. Ironically enough, I get locked up, get sentenced. I'm on the phone with my aunt. Oh, D, you can go to college. College? Wow. That's the last thing I was thinking about.
Right.
But anything to stay out the dorm and just stay out the way. That was my biggest thing. Right. So that's what my family inspired me, motivated me, because I wanted to complete what I didn't finish prior, and the fact that I wanted them to get a return on their investment, finally, because they sacrificed everything. My aunts and my grandmother were my primary caretakers, and my aunts don't have any children, didn't want any children. Right. So they sacrificed everything they wanted in their life just to raise me. And I basically gave them a handful. You know what I mean? Right. But yeah, so that's basically what motivated me for that. It was outside of me at first, but I actually earned the highest grades that I ever did, while I was there. Like, the professors I loved. Right. I loved the professors, just for them coming in to the facility, let alone bonding with them. Right. So it was like a double whammy. It was an extra blessing.
What are some of the challenges that we talked about briefly? We skated over the plethora of situations that can and do take place inside of a correctional environment. But what are some of the challenges that post-release individuals, those who are released either on parole or who finish their sentence, what are some of the challenges that individuals face after leaving prison? Because a lot of people, really, brother, this show is for those who know nothing about the prison system. This show is to educate people on what it's like. It's a different society, it's a different world, and it does exist, and it does impact thousands, if not millions of people nationally. I want them to understand what life is like in this environment. So
I'm glad you asked
that. It
that.
Doesn't end when the sentence is over.
No, it doesn't end. Like earlier I mentioned psychological warfare, right? So it's all in your mind, a lot of it, right? But then also what I learned the hard way, because when I went to prison, I was in my late 30s, early 40s. So
you went late in the game.
I went late. I've always been a late bloomer. So when I came home, I came home with the old man, unbeknownst to me. Right? So when you go away to prison, you think, oh, I want to get my life together, I want to do better. Even if some guys, they figure out new ways to commit crimes.
Exactly.
I shouldn't have done it that way. I get home, I'm going to do it this way. And they focus on that they whole bid.
And they have a lot of people to help them
add on to it with the details. Oh yeah, you're right, you should do it that way next time.
Exactly.
But for me, right, when I was there working and going to school, I worked for the DMV program. I went to school, but that old man was with me every other time that I wasn't in that environment, or probably even.
What do you mean when you say that old man?
The way of thinking. Okay. It was my way of thinking, because on my best day and my best way of thinking, it landed me upstate.
Right.
I just knew I had it. Everyone thinks they have it all figured out.
Right.
Before they get arrested, right? Then when they get arrested, they're like, oh man, I could have.
Nobody plans to get caught.
Yeah, no one thinks about that part. But
Right.
coming home, the old man can arise based upon people, places, and things, right? Your environment, your friends, your location, where you live. However,
And your experiences prior to prison.
that as well, right? So when I returned, I came home to a whole new environment. I was from Harlem, I came to the Bronx, right? The average individual, they would have to look for housing.
Right.
Depending upon how long they were away on their bid, family members may have passed away.
Exactly.
Girlfriend definitely moved on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you have to think about your living situation. So that is a what? That's a inpatient. That's a program, right?
Right.
Where you can
Shelter,
live.
God
That's a
forbid.
God forbid a shelter.
Yeah.
That's your mom's couch.
Right.
Or maybe
Or somebody
with,
else's
or
couch.
maybe with your kid's mom.
Right.
Or old flame that you called right before you came home.
Right.
Right? But outside of that, there's not that many options.
Right.
So I came home, different borough, my own place, like walked home to a furnished 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
That my aunts walked me into.
Wow.
And I still fumbled. I still dropped the ball. So those were things that I didn't even realize or knew to be aware of. It was my first bid upstate, so I didn't know what to do when I came home.
Right.
I had no prior experience
Right.
with it, right? And then also, the old man I didn't think about because I made progress. I earned that degree, I was working, so I wasn't thinking about my frame of mind, even though I told it to the kids that I spoke to.
Right.
What I just told you, I realized on my best day and my best way, but now I'm home. Yeah, so it was the habits.
The reality hits hard.
And it's the habits. You know, first night I'm on the phone trying to find a girl. I didn't even settle in.
Wow.
I didn't even get settled. I went to my parole officer the next day. He told me I was out of place because technically I was supposed to go to a shelter.
Right.
Which was crazy to me.
Right.
You
and
know,
we got it out of place, meaning
I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Right.
And technically he could have violated me under any other conditions.
Parole violation
Thank
sent
God,
you back to prison.
Thank God for the less is more bill.
Right.
You know, the less is more bill basically put its foot down on the parole system.
Oh.
And it gave individuals on parole 30 for 30. Every 30 days we did good, we got 30 days off.
Oh, okay.
So when I returned to society, I came home with 5 years parole.
Okay.
As a result of less is more, I got off in 2.5 years.
Okay.
So that affected the entire parole system, though. We weren't able to get violated for curfews or any of those things that they were filling up the prisons with in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, we're gonna take a break, brother.
All right.
And we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk more. I want to start the conversation with a pretty interesting question that I think is very important, that I think you, of all people, will be able to answer.
Okay.
And we'll be back after this. And we're back here on Sessions Cafe with an intimate conversation that I'm having with my brother, Dion Johnson. Before the break, I had expressed that I want to throw a really, really deep question at you. Many formerly incarcerated persons simply want to move on when they get out, brother. They want to put their prison experience behind them. They want to, we all know that many people that go to jail, there's a saying, do life on the installment plan. And what that means is you might get a sentence of 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, but because of the so many brothers and sisters too go back and back and back in the revolving door that they just can't seem to break the cycle. But even those that do break the cycle, it would seem as if to me that the average formerly incarcerated person wants to move on. They want to cut ties with anybody that they may have built an alliance with in prison. They want to put that behind them. You chose to become an advocate and not turn your back on your experience, but really use it as a vehicle to make life easier for others who came behind you. Why?
That's a great question. And as you were asking the question, I was sitting here thinking, and it's really something that I guess it also came to be like along my journey of coming home, right? So I came home to a reentry program called Center for Employment of Opportunity.
Okay.
Well, let me rewind a second. That first meeting with my parole officer, I'm talking to him. Mind you, I told you, he told me I was out of place, right?
Yeah.
In that same meeting, I'm talking to him and he says, oh, wow, not verbatim, but
right.
Oh, wow, yeah, I like your energy, the way you talk. You seem like you'd be a good motivational speaker.
Wow.
And in my mind, I'm like, my PO? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I was jacking his swag too. Like,
right.
You get what, he was mad cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, okay, that's different.
Right.
Hearing that from a PO.
From a parole officer, correct?
First day.
Yeah.
Then I go to the reentry program, Center for Employment of Opportunity. And I'm sitting there. I know America's a corporation. CEO's a corporation. So I'm sitting there. In the course of my orientation, I chose 3 mentors. All did boatloads of time more than I did, right? The teacher, like, it was 3 of them. From there, you know, the pandemic hit, and then after the pandemic, I went on an interview. I was hired to work at the airports. Second corporation was ABM that hired me.
Wow.
Third corporation was Port Authority. Wow. I was told there would be a background check, right? So from CEO, I went to ABM, hired by ABM. Know about the background check. I got off parole in September. This is November. I got fired. I got fired for my record. They said that my crime was one of their pre-existing crimes.
Right.
So I'm like, well, they said I could appeal it, but I'm like, well, if they didn't want me the first time, why would I go back? Right. Yeah. I didn't know what to do. I had nowhere else to go. I went back to CEO. I got up, got dressed, and I went in to just go sit down and just try to get some energy from my job coach. I ran into my boss. Hey, you want to be the advocacy fellow? I said, yeah. I didn't know how much it paid. I didn't know the job description.
Right. And it didn't really matter.
I just knew it was a guaranteed job, bro.
Right, yeah.
So for 6 months, I was able to walk into the orientation class, speak to them about advocacy. These are individuals that are first coming home, right? On probation or parole.
Right.
So they're coming home, they're being released from jail or prison.
Right.
Right? So I was able to walk in, speak to them about advocacy, about the program. They get a stipend each week, explain all that to them. And we took trips regularly to Albany, where we were able to walk down the halls, walk into the legislators' offices, and speak to them about whatever bill was on the floor at the time.
Wow.
That's what led me on this road.
Wow.
So it was the journey coming home. It was the people that God placed in my path.
Absolutely.
My parole officer, the mentors, and everyone else at CEO that was influential. Circles of support helped me to organize my story.
Right.
Like, if I didn't know how to tell it and organize it, then I wouldn't have been able to do anything.
That's right.
So it was everything, and I just wanted to be a part of the solution and no longer the problem.
Yes, sir.
So all of those things together, just making a difference, wanting to make a difference, that urge, and wanting to pay it forward. So when I go into CEO now each week and I speak to them about the transition clinic where I work, and I'm able to see these guys or ladies like afterwards, you know, just to speak to them or in passing, it's a blessing. Just to see them doing good. A lot of them have done better than I've done in the time frame I've been home, because they ain't fell at all.
Right.
I fell a couple of times.
Right. Sometimes you have to in order to appreciate getting back up.
I learned that the hard way.
Well, I mean, part of your education has included you speaking, you know, on CBS News, being interviewed for the New York Times and Rolling Stone magazine. So apparently your journey has had its ups. What has it been like telling your story so publicly? What has that been like? It's one thing to talk about it in front of a controlled environment and a controlled audience. But to tell your story publicly, like here on the television show that you're on now, how does that feel like?
I think it's more, I think it's part therapeutic for me, and the other part is paying it forward, because it's basically being the face to a voice, being the face to voices that don't get heard.
Right.
Because you can't wear it on your sleeve.
Correct.
When we're on the train, no one knows we're just as impacted and we just came home.
Exactly.
No one knows anything unless you tell them.
Right.
That's the only way for people to know. That's the only way we can educate them, is to be able to tell them and let them know.
Right.
Like, just because you've made a mistake in your life doesn't mean that mistake defines you.
Exactly.
Or just because a person makes a mistake doesn't mean they are that mistake.
Right.
Right? Just because someone does time doesn't mean they're a criminal, or whatever the stipulations, stereotypes may be, right? It's just basically to eradicate all those things. Because I done ran into some guys, some men and women, some brothers and sisters, you couldn't tell where they came from or what they've been through, you know?
So with all of the public speaking that you've done, I think it must have been really, really amazing for you to be on a panel with Delta Sigma sorority. What was that like?
Oh, that was awesome. So I was able to travel up to Albany with a member of the Center for Employment of Opportunities.
Yeah.
I believe the vice president.
Okay.
And, you know, that was awesome. And there was an event that was taking place in Albany, actually. I believe it's an anniversary that they have every year for the legislators, for everyone up there, right?
Okay.
So that was the first night, and the next day was when we had the panel. So the Delta Sigma sorority was in the audience. On the panel, I was on the panel with Vice President from CEO, the mayor wound up coming, and there was a district attorney there as well.
Okay.
So that was awesome. That was an awesome experience, and it was rewarding. I was being able to speak to the DA, you know, and for the first time, and ask him what made him want to be a district attorney, being a brother, and tell him how it's the first time I was able to talk one-on-one with a DA on this side.
On this side,
you know what I mean? All of that was just awesome, and just telling them my experience and all. It was truly a blessing. But everything goes to the Center for Employment of Opportunity, you know, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to get to Albany, you know, or even get here, because Circles of Support and everything, those are all the organizations that help get me here now. Yeah,
when I spoke to CEO, I knew that I really wanted to speak to you. I definitely wanted you to be able to tell your story, because like I said before, so many people, most people look at incarcerated persons one way. And one of the biggest reasons is because they only see incarcerated persons one way. You know, most people don't know somebody that's been incarcerated. And so what that means is they don't know anything about that person other than the fact that that person was incarcerated.
Exactly.
So I felt that this show was really, really important to open up and explore the life of a person who's been incarcerated. However, the life of a person who's also been successful as a non-incarcerated person, who chose to, you know, continue to do advocacy for others who have been incarcerated. I really was. It's an honor to have you on the show, my brother.
It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, the other part about it is that my mom, I'm a child of a former incarcerated parent.
Wow. Okay.
So when I was 2.5, my mom went to prison. She had life on the back of her sentence. I'm originally born in Ohio. So my mother's case was very instrumental, but the women battering laws of Ohio were amended. You know, some of them were changed, amended, however, because of my mother's case.
Wow.
And Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver, from when we were kids, Wiley Cleaver, he was instrumental in helping my mother get a governor's pardon.
Wow, from the state of Ohio.
Yeah, she got a governor's pardon when I was She came home when I was a freshman, so probably like in the 8th grade, maybe the pardon was, or however long prior to that. But she came home and, you know, not only was she successful when she was away, she was very successful returning as well. And my parents, you know, were childhood sweethearts, but whenever I would get in trouble or be outside, because they were outside, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They would look at me like I had 2 heads, talking to them about My father never condoned crime. He beat me for stealing and lying and cheating. He couldn't stand those things, right? You know, but for them to have been outside, they never promoted but I took their lives on.
Right.
And that's one of the things I like to talk about is how we take on other people's stuff. So my mom's bed, I took that on.
Yeah.
Like was so mesmerized by it while she was away in there that I wound up landing myself there. And then my father with the streets, you know? But I'm grateful to my parents, you know, because they sacrificed and they knew they weren't in a position to raise me. So that's how my aunts and my grandmother, you know, my uncle and my father was there as well. But I'm just grateful to be able to be here. I thank you for the opportunity and just for a second chance.
Yeah.
That's what so many people are grateful for and appreciative of, is that second chance that they have. Because I could imagine how many people have come to themselves during the course of their bid. Guys that have done double the years, triple the amount of time I've done. And they're a lot more humbler. I run into them every day at my job. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think about myself sometimes leaving them. Like, D, what's your problem? This dude just came home from doing 20. You see how he act? Yeah.
Well, you are definitely a success story. And I think that in our society, way too often, we measure success by the size of our homes, the number of our cars, the size of our bank accounts. And in reality, I feel that success is better defined by the level that a person has achieved based on wherever they've come from, whatever that means. And certainly, Mr. Johnson, you were easily a success story. And more importantly, your success embraces and encourages and initiates the success of others. So I really want to thank you for being a guest on the show, brother. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And keep keeping on. We need you.
I thank you for this opportunity, you know, just for having this platform and making it possible, and for you just acknowledging me to be able to come on your show. All of that is a blessing. I'm humbled and I'm very appreciative.
Well, thank you again. And we got to bring you back, so we got other questions we're going to ask you.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate that.
We'll see you next week, you guys.